Oh, hello, everyone. Welcome in Fantasy Life right here on Sirius XM Fantasy Sports Radio. Kendall, Valenzuela, Adam Ronis with you for the next couple of hours. Welcome to the Fantasy Football Playoffs. We hope that everyone listening right now has made it going into Week 15. We're going to break down whatever the heck, Adam, we saw on Monday Night Football. What was that? I was marked safe from 0.4 points from Jalen Hurts to somehow sweat out a win. Did you see the final score for me last night?
You were
Horrible.
you were losing at one point. You were tilting.
Yes.
You were texting me.
I was texting you. I said, put me out there. I said, what's going on?
It was a lot worse than that.
I'm never drafting Jalen Hurts again. I went so, yeah, I would, because what are we doing, Adam? How's it going?
It's good. I was glad that the Eagles lost.
They look horrible.
They did, and this is now 3 in a row. And the one thing with Jalen Hurts is he typically does not turn over the ball, but in this game, 4 interceptions and losing a fumble. So did not throw a touchdown, did not run either. I thought he would run more in this game. So yeah, there are people who probably had Jalen Hurts like, oh, I only need like 6 points from him. I'm good. And you really had to sweat. He didn't even get 6, right?
He didn't even get 1.
It depends.
Depending on your league. I'm doing ESPN scoring. He got 0.4 in ESPN formats.
That's crazy.
He didn't even get up to one whole point. It was completion percentage horrible. I had 21 of 40, 240 yards. Like you said, 4 interceptions, 1 fumble, 4 carries for only 8 yards. It's just, and then it depends on your turnovers, right? How many points of interception. So it just really depends. It was awful to watch, and I could not believe it. I feel bad for people that, myself included. I was able to be safe, but I was going up against Saquon Barkley. So last night, like you said, at one point I was trailing, and I said, you know what? I deserve to lose this.
You were winning. Do you remember how many points you were up going into last night?
8.
8, and you had Hurts and Smith
and Devontae Smith.
And then your opponent at Barkley. So you probably thought, oh, I'm good. And you won by like slightly over 3. Hurts gave you 3.8.
It's horrible. I feel so bad because it's just at some point you have to look around, and I know that Eagles fans are disappointed just overall with the season. They're disappointed with their offensive coordinator, but when your quarterback comes over and has 5 turnovers in one of the worst games we've seen in his career, mistakes kind of overshadow everything else. He had 1 interception through the first 10 games of the season. He has 5 in the past 2. They're just unraveling this team.
Oh, that's a shame. I'm so heartbroken to see it. Well, I hope it continues because they still need to lose 2 more. That's the problem for Dallas. Dallas needs to win 4, and they need Philly to lose 2.
This helped them a lot.
Yeah, but you think Philly's, it's bad, but you really think they're going to lose to Vegas next week?
No, not to Vegas. Who's after that, though?
Washington twice and Buffalo in Week 17. So that's the problem. Washington has kind of packed it in. So, it's a divisional game, and you never know. But, Philly was just brutal. A.J. Brown came through if you needed him. Dallas guarded for me, 8 for 78. So I'll take that. But that's the one thing is you're pretty much starting the same players every week on this team. And Barkley came through with a big game. He had a 52-yard run. We really haven't seen that. Early in the game, he had a lot of room to run. It was like, I haven't seen this in a long time. And then it got a little tougher as the game went along. Just Philly continues to struggle here offensively. They just, every time looks like they're starting to put it together, they make a critical mistake. Because it felt to me like they were going to win this game somehow with all the turnovers, and the Chargers just could not capitalize on it because that offensive line is a major problem. And we talked about this with the Chargers. I don't even know what receivers you could start right now. I'd say McConkey. He had a bad game, and Cooper DeJean was on him a lot, so you could understand that. But I told you, someone called yesterday. I was like, I can't play Oronde Gadsden right now. 1 catch for 7 yards on 4 targets. It just can't. It's just with this offensive line, and their schedule is brutal. They get it's a good thing they won. That was a massive win for the Chargers because you've seen their schedule. It's tough, and basically they have a extremely desperate Chiefs team next week.
Yeah, and then they are at Dallas week 16, so we're okay with that one. But even then, I don't even know in a spot start situation that we would say stream Rondé Gadsden. He hasn't reached over 10 fantasy points since week 9. That was against Tennessee. And the targets, the receptions, they're just they've fallen down. And so they get Kansas City like you said, then they play Dallas, then they go up week 17 against Houston.
Oh my God, how many sacks are
Horrible.
they going to get? 12?
Horrible. And then they finish, unless you have the fantasy championships week 18, this doesn't matter necessarily, but then they finish at Denver. That's a horrible schedule. So you're right. This is a really good spot for them to be able to at least get that win. At least we saw, right, Omarion Hampton, Kimani Vidal, if you had to start, especially if you had to start Vidal, right? Because I think we got a couple calls saying, hey, I know that Hampton's going back in there, but what's the chances that this could be a true split? And that's really what we saw. I don't know if that continues, Adam. That's kind of the big question is Omarion Hampton looked good, carried the ball 13 times, 56 yards, caught both of his targets for 11 yards and a touchdown. Again, if the Chargers won 22-19, it was disgusting. Don't go back and watch it because it was a horrible game. In overtime. Kimani Vidal did get the start, but Hampton was brought into the fold pretty quickly, to be totally honest with you, and it was an even distribution. So I think that, again, will be the big question if we see Omarion Hampton take over in these next few games. But again, that's a tough schedule, so maybe they just continue to split to make sure that he stays healthy. But Kimani Vidal managers weren't necessarily super disappointed with what they saw.
Yeah, I don't know if this was easing him back in or what. Vidal played 51 snaps, Hampton 23. But Hampton did get the ball when he was on the field and did look good. Had a couple of nice big runs, so he had the more efficiency compared to Vidal. Vidal had that 60-yard reception first drive of the game to get them going, and Hampton had the receiving touchdown. But yeah, I mean, I'm fine with what this is probably what they want to do going forward to ease Herbert getting hit. He was sacked 7 times in this one.
He faced the third highest pressure rate in a single game in the next gen stats era. That's since 2016. It was he was getting pressured all night. It was, and then sacked a career high. He was sacked 7 times.
Yeah, insane. So
it was bad.
Yeah, I think you feel comfortable starting Hampton going forward. And I guess with Vidal, it's just, will this continue next week? That's the big question. Like, are they gonna try to run like this? Because they ran the ball 38 times. I mean, Herbert on the ground, 10 for 66. So yeah, they ran quite a bit, and that's probably what they want to do going forward. So I definitely start Hampton. I think Vidal is kind of borderline at this point.
Yeah, more of a maybe flex consideration more than anything else. I'm going to have, like, looking at the rankings, I'm interested to see where everyone's going to have Vidal. I guess we've got our early rankings out now that you guys can go and check out. So right now going into the week, Vidal going up against Kansas City is RB consensus 43. And then Omarion Hampton's consensus RB 20. So that's a bigger split than what we saw going into this week.
Yeah, I guess people are expecting it to go more in the favor of Hampton. Maybe they would just easing him back in, and they give him a bigger workload against Kansas City.
What do you think about Hurts in this Eagles offense the rest of the way? I mean, I really did think this was going to be a closer game. I didn't think they were going to run away with it necessarily, but I thought after, what we saw with them over the past couple of weeks, it hasn't been good, that this would be maybe one that they just kind of showcase everything, going up against the Bears, losing in that fashion on Black Friday, 24-15. You thought, okay, maybe they'll put it all together. It hasn't happened. They do play the Raiders. So you take everything with a grain of salt, because as much as we want to be disappointed and mad, you do have to reflect that in the rankings. So that's not a tough matchup. Then they face the Commanders, who are all but done as of right now. And then they finish off with the Bills in week 17. So 0.4, maybe up to 3 points from Jalen Hurts yesterday. So disappointing, but he's probably he's going to be inside my top 8 quarterbacks just because of the rankings. But man, that's been bad.
Yeah, look, this one was like the atrocious game. I mean, the other 2 games, he wasn't that bad for fantasy. So with this matchup against Vegas, you're playing all these guys. You just cannot react to what you just saw. I know it's difficult, especially if you snuck in the playoffs. You really don't want to play these guys, but the matchup against Vegas is just too good to ignore. Yeah. So I think you're just playing them. I mean, with Hurts, we know he's got a high floor every week because of his ability to run, which was surprising in this game. I I heard them talk about how they wanted to run him a little bit more, and they didn't. I mean, he only had 4 carries for 8 yards, and I think maybe 1 or 2 was designed. So, but he has the ability to get you those 30, 40 yards, the tush push, which they weren't in position to do. So you're still going to play him. Like, you can't drop him outside like the top 10.
No. This offense, though, averaging 16.2 points the past 5 games, obviously need better play. We're not going to see this Jalen Hurts week in and week out, but what a horror. It was just awful. That's all I can say. And in a situation where we were talking about how many fantasy players were probably still going in this one, at least like you said, Saquon Barkley, the run defense for the Chargers was a little leaky in this one. 122 yards, 20 carries. 52 of those came on that 1 touchdown run, which again was nice to see. But overall, don't rewatch this game. If you missed it last night, just don't go back and watch. It was so
unless you like turnovers. Because there were a lot of them in this game.
There was 3 in 1 play.
Yeah, exactly. So
I almost turned it on to, did you? Oh, I know you didn't watch this, but they were doing the Monsters, Inc. broadcast. I turned it on for a second just to feel happiness and joy.
I did not. It probably made you feel better because you were definitely tilting on the Jalen Hurts performance.
I saw Mike Wazowski. I saw the Sully. Yeah, it made me feel a lot better for like 10 minutes.
But boy, those Chargers receivers, that was pretty bad. Like, this was a brutal box score for any Chargers receiver. I mean, Ladd McConkey 1 for 12, Quentin Johnston 2 for 8, Gadsden 1 for 7, Keenan Allen 3 for 22. I mean, boy, this was horrific. There were probably people who needed like 3, 4, 5 points from any of these guys and did not get it.
Who on this team are you comfortable starting? Omarion Hampton.
Hampton and
Herbert, I guess, in super flex, but I only say that because I have him.
In a super flex, yeah, you probably have no choice. I definitely am not starting him in a league where you start one quarterback.
No.
And I guess McConkey. I mean, he led the team in targets with 5. Again, had a tough matchup here, but their schedule is brutal.
It's bad.
Outside of the Cowboys game, right? Against the Cowboys game, I think you could start some of these guys, but the Kansas City game next week, that could be another ugly, low-scoring game.
I don't know what we did to deserve that Monday game, but we just have to start fresh, right, Adam? We're going into week 15. It's the fantasy playoffs. Hopefully, we don't see that again. If we do, we're gonna crash out. It's just gonna be bad. I can't. I was texting you last night. I was so pissed. I couldn't believe what I was watching. I needed like 8 points from Jalen Hurts to feel good.
Yeah, you said you're not drafting Jalen Hurts ever again.
I'm not. Jalen Hurts, A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith. We can clip this. I can't do it anymore. Devontae Smith, what's going? I mean, A.J. Brown has had it's been 3 straight games,
100-yard games.
But then they've lost those games.
I know.
So I don't.
So you're saying that they've got to stop feeding him the ball?
No, I'm just saying it's interesting, and I'm only saying this as a Devontae Smith manager. So Devontae Smith, though, it's not 14.9, 9.8, 7.7 the last 3. But he's been held obviously under. He's only hit 100 yards twice this year.
There was a point where he was the more consistent receiver over A.J. Brown, but that has definitely flipped once again.
There was a point where I was ranking him ahead of A.J. Brown because he looked better and was just getting more work. But, oh well.
But it's nice to. It's crazy that the Eagles are in first place, 8-5. You would have no idea. Like, if you just watched them play and someone said, guess the record of this team and what place they're in, you would never guess it. But they are still in a position to win this division.
Is that making you upset?
Yes, because I feel like, look, the Cowboys didn't take care of business, so it's their fault. But, they've played better than Philly the last month.
This Eagles team looks like the 2023 version, not the Super Bowl winning version.
Oh, that is for sure.
It's if you were asking us to compare this team to whatever team we wanted to, it'd be the 2020 where they down the stretch were just losing those games. And so you're right, 8-5, Cowboys sitting at 6-6, and yeah, that's all I can say about it. Send us screenshots if you won last night. By how many? Mine was 3 points, Adam. Oh, I can't even say what I want to say, but it's fine. Last piece of news here, by the way. Can we talk about Phillip Rivers? Is that big enough news for us the Colts are working out. They've already actually worked out Phillip Rivers today to potentially bring in as their starting quarterback. Riley Leonard has an injury. So this is what we're looking at here. You should see Adam's face too, because it is just, he's almost laughing. It's I'll root for him if he comes in, but Daniel Jones is out for the year. Riley Leonard has an injury, and so they're bringing in Phillip Rivers. Did they call you? They
They
give you
did
a
not.
call?
I am
What
not a
the heck?
quarterback. If they needed a
Oh, come
receiver,
on.
maybe.
Okay,
Although
all
after
right.
taking one hit, I don't know what would happen. It would be pretty bad. But yeah, when I first saw this, I'm like,
I thought
this
it
is
was fake.
fake. I was like,
Yes.
yeah, I went to go confirm that it was the real account, and it was. I was like, wow, this is insane. So, yeah, because we kind of got word early in the day that Leonard was dealing with a knee injury. We didn't know how serious. And then later in the day, yeah, he's going to miss time.
Yep.
Boy, it is just really falling apart for the Colts. But hey, if there is any 44-year-old quarterback that can produce, it is Phil Rivers. I mean, he's a grandfather. He's got a
Oh,
lot of kids. So
uh-huh.
let's go,
You think
Phillip
he's
Rivers.
back there?
I always liked Phillip Rivers a
Oh,
lot. I
for
was always
sure.
rooting for him. He's fun to watch. So yeah, but I guess also this would also, if he did play, it would reset his clock for the Hall of Fame.
Yes, I was reading that this morning. So he'd have to be out for another 4 years, right? Or 5? Something like that?
I believe it's 5.
Yeah. It
That's
would
insane.
reset the whole thing.
Yeah. So we'll see.
Yeah,
I mean,
I
look,
don't know.
they're in bad shape. I mean,
Desperate.
look how many teams right now that we're saying, and this goes back to our discussion when we talk about Emeka Egbuka and Justin Jefferson.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, cool. We're knocking out all the Colts receivers basically right now, right? We just talked about downgrading the Chargers receivers. It's like, who are we starting?
Emeka Egbuka. That's who we're starting.
It's like, yeah, I guess we got to roll with him again. Hopefully he catches a touchdown this time.
That's what I was talking about with Ian Hartitz on the Fantasy Live show yesterday, which you guys can go and check out wherever you get your podcasts, over up on YouTube as well. But we were talking about how at some point, and we've said this too, Adam, you reach a point in your rankings where everyone has a yellow to red flag. And so you just pick your poison at that point. So when we have to, like, it's just the conversation we had with Lamar Jackson. I could not have him outside my top 10 going into this week, going into week 14, I should say, because at some point I just couldn't put some of the other quarterbacks ahead of him. So you pick your poison, right? You pick the yellow flag, the red flag, and you roll with it. That's what you have to do with those rankings.
Yeah, and again, a guy like Igbuka is still getting a lot of targets. I know people are tired of hearing it because the stats aren't there, but we just have a lot of situations right now where we don't feel good about a lot of receivers, and you just got to look at the target share, and if it's there, you're just going to roll with them and hope that the production follows at some point.
Adam will be upgrading every single Colts receiver, though, if we see Phillip Rivers as their QB1.
Hell
I know
yeah.
it for sure. He'll say start everyone, start the backup, start everyone, because he will give us fantasy goodness. That would be insane if that did happen. So we'll keep an eye on that. We've got a lot of things to break down, though, from week 14 heading into week 15. Who better to talk to than the one and only Dwain McFarland, going through the utilization report, which is live, fantasylife.com. We're going to break it down with him next. We've got Dwain McFarland right here. Same with the utilization report, live at fantasylife.com. So make sure you go and check that out. This is the utilization report presented by DraftKings. No one asked Dwain about Jalen Hurts from last night. It didn't go well for me. Didn't go well. It went. I mean, at least I still made it, Dwain. But yeah, that was awful. How you doing? How's it going?
Yeah, look, hey, I'm good. I got cut in a guillotine league because of Jalen Hurts, and I was fine until the last play.
Brutal.
I was losing early on like the quadruple fumble or whatever the heck that was. Never have seen anything like that. Got back to, being okay. And then, I was cut. I was in two leagues down to the final 5 teams. I thought I was, I won it last year in the company, Kendall. So I was going to try to go 2 for 2. But, that's the beauty of a guillotine league, man. Stuff like that happens. What's funny is I picked up Jalen Hurts last week.
Oh, that makes it that's worse.
I had to. I have Drake May.
Yeah.
So I had to.
Yeah.
Drake May was on bye. So
sounds like me when I spent
in my
all
other
my
league,
money.
I've got Josh Allen. So you don't have to worry about these shenanigans.
What did we see last night? More specifically, looking at the Chargers, we had a ton of calls, a ton of questions on Omarion Hampton and what the split would look like. So it's virtually 50-50, right, between Omarion Hampton and Kimani Vidal. Do you see that staying the same going forward, or how are you looking at them?
Well, the interesting thing is Kimani Vidal played 69% of the snaps versus 31% for Hampton. But it's one of these deals where it's the first game back. We never know for sure how those things are going to go. Hampton, they had been slowly ramping him up in practice over the last couple of weeks. He's coming off of a pretty serious injury. But the rushing attempts were closer, Kendall, like you said, 47% to Vidal and then 43% to Omarion Hampton. So I think the most likely thing here, and get your opinion, see what Ronis thinks on this, I think Hampton settles in as the leading ball carrier for the team, and then I think Kimani Vidal ends up being the change of pace. But I wouldn't be surprised if Vidal hangs on to the passing down reps, which is something that Hampton was getting on early in the year after the Najee injury that was making him super valuable in fantasy. And right now, like I know the Chargers won last night, but they don't look good at all. Like their offense that hasn't looked good, for a month. They're not able to throw the ball consistently. You got a lot of pressure on Herbert all the time. The run blocking is not great. So not ideal, honestly, for people that were really excited about getting Hampton back. Like we're happy to have him. I get it. He's the ride or die. Still think he's a great player, going to have a really good career. But if he loses those passing down reps and he's just an early down back on an offense we don't care about as much, Kendall, that's like a mid-range running back 2 to low-end running back 2, not the potential running back 1 we were hoping for.
Our early splits are RB 20 consensus from Friedman and Ian, and then RB for Omarion Hampton, RB 43 consensus for Kimani Vidal. Too big of a split, do you think? Or too big apart?
I think they have it in the right order.
Okay.
I'm projecting the Chargers, right now. So I'm working on them I was working on before. Well, actually, I was depressed. I was working on the Colts quarterback.
Brutal.
Before that, I was working on the Chargers' new backfield splits, which was slightly more encouraging, to be honest. No, I think they have it in the right order, but yeah, it might be a bit wide. But again, we never know. Like this could flip to Hampton next week. Like it's one of these scenarios where we can't be for sure. All I can say is Vidal's played well, so I don't think he's going to completely go away.
We've seen some tight ends take a hit due to the quarterback position or the offense, but Harold Fannin Jr. is moving up. I mean, how high is he moving up, and what's the outlook for him going forward?
Yeah, man, here's the thing with Fannin, and we've talked about him, I think, even a few times on here this year, Ronis, but we know he's a very talented player. Like we thought he was a very talented player coming out of college. Early in the year, the way they were using him and getting him on the field, despite having David Njoku, we were like, okay, the coaches also think he's talented. Then we started seeing his targets per route run and all these different things, yards per route run, despite playing in an offense we don't think is very good. And we're like, okay, Harold Fannin Jr. is probably a really good player. The big thing now is he's taking over a full-time role. So over the last 3 games, he's got an 87% route participation rate. Now, a little caveat last week because David Njoku got hurt, but man, over the first 3 drives before Njoku got hurt, Fannin was at 83%. So he'd really taken over the starting tight end role over the last 3 games. And if you look at his targets per route run, all those different things that we like to look at, for some of these players to try to get a feel for their talent profile, like Fannin's one of the best in the league, man. And the guy's really good after the catch. You got Shedeur Sanders at least showing that there's some upside in the Browns passing game. Like we're not saying, guys, he's going to throw for 350 yards every week or anything, but you were never throwing for 350 yards with Dillon Gabriel. Let's be honest, right? So Shedeur has averaged 240 yards per game versus, the 170 we were getting for Gabriel. Now, Sanders has only started 3 games, obviously had the one big game, but 8.3 yards per attempt versus 5.2 yards per attempt, and just pushes the ball down the field more, which I think is big, Ronis, because that's what opens up the underneath stuff for Fannin. When the defense is just sitting down on top of all that, it makes it tough for a run after the catch player like Fannin to really thrive. But if you've got to worry about the threat of a downfield pass, which you do have to do with Shedeur Sanders, I think that really helps. The average depth of target for Shedeur Sanders, 7.6 yards versus 5.8 for Dillon Gabriel. So this moves from kind of a Mickey Mouse dink and dunk offense to now you've got a good player in a full-time role, going to have a little bit more space. So I've got him as a mid-range tight end 1. I moved him up again this week. And here's what I'll say. Based on his utilization score comps, looking at the last 3 games when he's been in a full-time role, Ronis, 42% of them have finished as top 3 tight ends.
Ooh.
So this guy's available on 60% of Yahoo waiver wires right now. If you are not the Trey McBride owner, if you are not the Brock Bowers manager, if you are not the George Kittle general manager, I don't want to come up with a different name for each one of these things. But if you're not one of those people, Harold Fannin is a name you should go get. And if you are one of those people and you got a spot, you should be blocking your league mates from getting Harold Fannin. I really do. I get it. It's the Browns offense. But, man, I would not be surprised if this guy has a 25-30% target share the rest of the way. And even in a crappy offense, he could be the tight end 4 the rest of the way.
Last 4 games for the Browns, going up against the Bears, the Bills, the Steelers, and then unfortunately the Bengals is Week 18. So that would have been way more fun. I know.
Well,
would have been way more
tight end
fun.
matchup.
Then
Maybe
we'll bet on them that
weekend.
week. We'll bet on them then.
Maybe we should call someone about that.
I have a feeling by then you won't be able to bet on him. Like I have a feeling like the cat will be out of the bag.
The odds will be too against our favor.
Yeah.
All right, the Broncos have the Packers, the Jaguars, and the Chiefs to end things going into Week 17 here. But even with the Broncos in that schedule, how are you looking at RJ Harvey here, Dwain? Like, could he be this bright spot for fantasy managers, in the next 3 weeks?
Yeah, see, he could be such a bright spot. Like, he could just make your voice crack.
You're just
that.
Whoa,
that's
RJ
what we're
Harvey.
talking about. Yeah, I hate when that happens to me. So you mentioned it. Like, the schedule's not ideal. I mean, the Packers are a minus 2.4 point fantasy boost. So, guys, all that is, you can check it out over at fantasylife.com. But we just adjust for all of the opponents, right? Each of these defenses have played, and either are they giving up more or less than what they should have based on what those teams typically average. So these are all negative matchups, but at the same time, like if we look at RJ Harvey over the last 3 games, I mean, he's the running back 9, Kendall. He's got 17.1 fantasy points per game. Last week, he started to really flash more in the efficiency department, which is something, honestly, we expected sooner because he was a big playmaker in college. But he has a 79 utilization score since taking over, as the starter. And last week he reached season highs in snaps, 68%, routes, 60%, which is huge. That's the huge thing that can offset the schedule. If he keeps that kind of route rate, and we don't have to do this Tyler Bidet, Jaleel McLaughlin, like little ring around the rosy dance. I don't know why Sean Payton does this stuff, but he does. But if he keeps that route participation rate, like that's really big for him because he had a season high 16% target share last week. And basically, look, the Broncos, they have Cortland Sutton, and they have Cortland Sutton, and they have Cortland Sutton. Like, we like Pat Bryant, rookie, taking over a larger role, but he's not earning a lot of targets. Troy Franklin's fallen out of favor. They don't play. They gave Evan Ingram this money and contract. They don't even playing for crying out loud. We got Adam Troutman running around out there. So like, there's that can be the thing that can offset the schedule, is if you're out there and you're getting those targets, and we know Sean Payton loves to dial the stuff up for the back. So that's really huge, Kendall. But if you look at his utilization score comparisons, if you look at that, it's 42% of them, were top 12 running backs. Wow. So that's pretty good. And then the rest of them were mostly high-end running back 2s. So that's where I'll have him in the ranks this week, is, a high-end running back 2.
Michael Wilson, once again, without Marvin Harrison Jr., just putting up elite numbers. It's insane. Assuming Harrison sits this week, what do we do with Wilson going up against the Texans?
Yeah, I'm going to go high-end wide receiver 2. I'll probably keep him out of the wide receiver 1 conversation just because we have seen the Texans are one of the few teams that really have locked down even good passing games, right? A lot of these defenses, you look at them on paper, like, oh man, they're pretty good. And then they play a good offense. It's like, didn't matter. Like, this is one of the ones that it really does matter. Now, in any given game, they could still get toasted, right? I mean, you could still have a game where, Jacoby Brissett, like that, Jacoby Brissett and Michael Wilson, it's absolutely insane. But yeah, when you look at it, Ronis, these numbers are just crazy. 30.8 fantasy points per game in the games without Marvin Harrison Jr., 16 targets per game, 190 air yards per game. So no matter what kind of fantasy player you are, I just want the points. I don't care about all that nerd stuff. Or, no, man, I want the nerd stuff. I don't care about the points. Like, it doesn't matter. Like, you get both of them. Yeah, exactly. So Michael Wilson, he's an alpha without Marvin Harrison Jr., but high-end wide receiver 2 because it's the Texans. But would I be surprised if he popped off a wide receiver 1 finish? No, not when you're getting that many targets per week. Like, if you only catch 40% of them, Ronis, like, you're still going to be better than a lot of people on the day.
Dwain, last one here before we let you go. What are you doing with the Colts, by the way? I got to know. Not to end on a bad note, but like, we have to downgrade everyone realistically. It's like, and Tyler Warren, Tyler Warren's been on a stretch where you haven't been happy with his fantasy points. So really, with his injury to Daniel Jones, it's downgrade everyone except Jonathan Taylor.
Yeah, actually, I think Tyler Warren gets the least downgrade, but I still think he gets one. And the main reason why is he gets all the low average depth of target stuff. He gets a lot of the design things. So when a quarterback situation goes sideways, like a lot of times the targets will still be there, but the touchdown ceiling is gone. Like this team was one of the best offenses in the league.
Yep.
Like they reached the red zone, like top 5 rate. They had a top 5 touchdown rate. That's all gone. That's all ancient history. Like they're going to hope that they can be a middle of the pack team. Most likely they'll be in like the bottom 8 or 9 the rest of the way in touchdown scoring. And that's the killer. That's what kills all these guys. I mean, like Riley Leonard, if he's healthy, like he might be able to still get the targets to Michael Pittman like we saw last week, where you're like, oh, okay, like I got 16 points. You know, he did have a couple touchdown passes called back, to be fair, to Mr. Riley Leonard. So we could still see more there. But yeah, the touchdown totals, like in the team totals, when we're doing our projections, like they're going to look very different. So yes, it's a downgrade for everyone, to your point, Kendall, but like Alec Pierce and guys like that, like probably shouldn't be anywhere near your lineup.
It's so disappointing. Crazy how things can change so quickly, Dwain. Because like you said, we were talking these guys up. Alec Pierce was on the waiver wire week in and week out, and now here we are. Something that's not disappointing though is that new DraftKings Pick 6 customers, you can play just $5 plus on your first pick set, get $50 in bonus picks. That's right. All you need to do is play $5 plus on your first entry, and you'll get $50 in bonus picks instantly. Don't miss your shot to ride the upside. Download DraftKings Pick 6, get in on all the action. Sign up using Dwain's promo code Fantasy Life. Dwain, we appreciate you so much, and we get to talk to you next Tuesday.
Yeah, I appreciate you guys. So thanks for having me on.
Of course.
You know, it was at an important time in my life. You know, like I said, I was looking at the depth chart for the quarterbacks for the Colts, and you guys cheered me up.
I think they should give you a call. Give you and Adam a call. They didn't call you guys? Adam said they didn't call him.
Yeah, I'm not a quarterback.
No. I mean, I might be able to get the 2-yard screen pass off to Tyler Warren, but then it would get, number one, batted because I am not a 6'5" human being, and then number two, I would get not, you know, the just the glancing of the blow to the head, like just like one finger from one of those offensive linemen, and I would be in, you know, I would be out for the season. So, no.
Okay, good to know. Good to know. Dwain, we appreciate you. We're going to do waiver wire names to know here coming up next. This is Fantasy Life right here. Kendall, Valenzuela, Adam Ronis with you on this Tuesday, breaking down everything that you need to know from what we just saw in week 14, not the Monday night game, and going through those waiver wire names to know as well. If you guys have questions, send them our way at KValenzuela17, at Adam Ronis over there on X. I've seen some positive tweets towards us, Dwain, you know, saying, hey, I saw Jack to the Future was able to get the win. Final score 115.84. 112.66. He said it was my positivity that helped. Of course, you have to be positive here.
Look, I am a positive person by nature.
You're realistic.
Yes, there's a difference. You think like you twist everything. It's a positive. Like someone could be down 80 with no players left.
Maybe there's a chance.
Yeah, they could be down 80 with no players left, and you're like, yeah, there's a shot. You know, it's like. Come on.
I've gotten better.
You're extreme.
I said, no, you're out of it. And then I got Keith said he won the championships. Said thanks for all your help. We're going to go through most chop players too, by the way, today. It's your turn. It's your turn to guess.
I don't think this is as easy as last week.
Last week wasn't easy. You're just saying.
Yes, it was. Are you kidding me? You had layup after layup last week.
Well, listen, sometimes you just get lucky, right? Isn't that your theme this year? You're just like, I don't know how I'm in these tournaments. Yeah, this week's a little tough. You've got like 2 layups though.
Maybe we'll see. But it's, you talk about the luck factor, and I've said this all year in our GST league. I have gotten very lucky. I mean, my team is okay, but it's not 9-5. But then there's other leagues where I thought I was a lock for the playoffs. And I've been in first all year. When I opened up last night and saw I didn't make it, I was just stunned. There were 2 teams in the playoffs with less points than me. But it just happened to be records that they got in on, and I cannot believe that team didn't get in. I thought it had a chance to really go far, and it was like in the top 50, 60 of overall rankings most of the year, and I didn't get in. I'm just like, this is crazy. So, again, it's just to point out, like, you just got to keep plugging away. It looks bleak, and look how many situations have changed across the NFL. Like, a few weeks ago, you thought Jonathan Taylor was a league winner. You thought Alec Pierce was a difference maker. And just like that, quarterback goes down, and now they're looking at a potential grandfather to come in and quarterback the team. So, yeah, it's just situations change so drastically. Even, the Chargers. I mean, we kind of saw this coming. We looked at the offensive line issues. We looked at the schedule and we said, yeah, this might not be a good thing. So, yeah, you just got to keep plugging away. And this is a year, too, where, like, if you have, like, a Jahmyr Gibbs, these guys that could just put up 30 points, it's a huge advantage. Yeah, JSN, Gibbs, like, those guys, like, it's just a huge advantage. And if you have, like, two of those guys, like, you have a good shot to win it all. Because and remember, too, we're also going to see potential weather in the next couple weeks, too.
Yep.
I see this week, though, a lot of cold games. I mean, that doesn't really matter. It's really the wind. Right now, I'm seeing the Bears game 9 degrees.
Yeah, pass.
Would you go? What if someone gave you free tickets, like right 50-yard line?
Oh,
free
yeah,
tickets.
I'd go.
You would go?
Sure go. I
don't know.
I'd get the hot. You wouldn't go?
No, I'm saying I don't know if you would go and sit there in 9 degrees. I don't know.
You forget. I did live in Cincinnati. I was walking to work.
But now you're used to the heat.
I know, it's horrible. Oh, Adam, I had a sweater on yesterday. It was 65 degrees.
Are you kidding me?
I know. I can't even admit it. I hope my dad's not listening because he's going to text me and be like, what the heck has happened?
So it was like, I don't know, 15 degrees here last night or 10. I did not put on the heat.
Ugh, yeah, but you don't do that.
I know. Yeah, I don't. It's got to be like horrible. 0 for me to turn on the heat.
That's insane.
But I guarantee you, if you like walked into my place, you'd be like, this is freezing. How do you survive this?
I'll be like, I'll bring my own blanket. I'll be like, okay, you're going to Adams. No, you're insane for that. But it is a good point, and it's a reason why we always say never give up. And it's a reason, we'll talk about this more in the offseason, but total points and having a league where you get rewarded based on points as well, besides just where you end up in the rankings and everything. I think that's important too. So you don't give up, and you don't give up this week going into it. There are a couple, Adam, if we look, I mean, I think Blake Corum's going to be at the top of everyone's list. I don't think he's going to be available in most leagues, but I still want to be able to talk about him because do you agree that Blake Corum right now could be a flex option? Like how we talked earlier in the year about Tyler Algier with Bijan Robinson. Do you think that he's done enough and that we've seen enough from him to warrant flex consideration?
I guess I lean yes. They are using them earlier in games. They're kind of rotating. Look, the matchup worked out perfectly for them this past week. He got that 48-yard touchdown in the fourth quarter, but he did have one earlier. But just look, there's many weeks where he's not getting double-digit carries. He's not involved in the passing game, so you're kind of timing it right. So, okay, this past week you could have said yes, right? You had expected them to beat up on Arizona. Yeah. The game against Carolina, you might have said yes. They did lose. He did have 7 for 81 and a touchdown. Tampa Bay, pretty good against the run. He only had 7 for 24. Seattle, good against the run. Good defense, 8 for 10. So I guess it's more matchup play right now. I mean, so like this week you would feel good using him against Detroit?
I mean, you're not going to get, here's the one thing we know, you're not going to get 26 points. I think if you're in a deeper format like ours, maybe it's a consideration there.
Yeah. I mean, with my team, I'd start him. I mean, I'm starting Bam Knight every week in that
league. The next 2 weeks aren't ideal, though. Let's just say that against Detroit and at Seattle.
Yeah, we already saw the Seattle matchup once, and it did not go well.
At the very least, he is now the top handcuff to have in the league. I think that's what I would say is that if you're in a desperate
he's probably
spot,
more than a handcuff though, because he's getting 7 to 12 touches weekly, and he is getting some of the goal line looks too. So, I still think he's not. He's like not more of a Okay. I mean, it's tough because
I'm with you. I'm on the same page with you. I'm doing my early rankings. It's gonna be close, but he'll be a fringe flex player for me. But you might have better options. Now we have no teams on a bye.
I could see him around RB 30. Again, I haven't looked at rankings yet, but just a guess. But yeah, the volume is not there, and he needs to break off a long run to score a touchdown. So to me, that is dependent on the matchups. And yeah, Detroit's been pretty good against the run. They've allowed the second fewest fantasy points to the running back position. And then you're not starting them against Seattle.
No, heck no. In Seattle as well. Thursday night game. Oh, I'm so excited for that one.
Massive
That's a big
game.
One. big one. I've got early rankings. Mine aren't uploaded yet. They will be here later today. I've got him at 40, RB 40 for Blake Corum. We've got him consensus 38. So Matthew Friedman has him at 33. Ian has him at 42. So again, it puts him right on the fringe.
Yeah, look, I get people are excited for him, but you just have to look at it. And, he's broken off a couple long runs. He was used earlier in the game, I will say that, against Arizona, but I don't know if that script's going to be the same this week. I mean, that could be a back and forth game. There could be a lot of points. I mean, that could be a shootout, but it's risky when you're relying on a guy to find the end zone and potentially break off a big run.
Sure.
Unless you feel he's going to get 12 to 15 touches, and I don't think we can count on that every week.
No, I think it'd be closer to 7 or 8.
Now, if Kyron Williams were to go down, then
that's
absolutely.
Why, yes, 1,000. That's a whole different story than if he were to go down. But yeah, that's definitely a name to know. I've got a couple more waiver wire names to know, and my article is live at fantasylife.com. You guys can go and check that out. 100% free. Let's go through some tight ends, some running backs, and of course, some quarterbacks, Adam, next. Going through waiver wire names to know heading into week 15, the start of the fantasy playoffs for most everyone here. And so we already mentioned Blake Corum being probably one of the top guys. I think another one too, Adam, not necessarily to start right away unless Devon Achane is down with an injury, but it is Jalyen Wright. He's probably a lot more available to everyone listening here for the Miami Dolphins. Again, Devon Achane left week 14 with a rib injury. Said he could have come back if he wanted to. The team kept him out and just didn't want him to go back in there. We'll have to pay attention to the injury reports because like Adam always tells us, don't believe everything that the coaches tell you, that the players tell you, even though I like to and I try to be a little bit better about that. That makes Jalyen Wright the best handcuff to have for him because he had 24 carries, turned those into 170 yards and a touchdown here. Ollie Gordon, because we've gone back and forth between Ollie Gordon and Jalyen Wright, but Ollie Gordon, 5 attempts, found the end zone though. So I think Ollie, you could also put a bid in for those deeper formats if you miss out on Jalyen Wright, but Wright is definitely the guy to target here.
Yeah, you should pick him up regardless, even if you don't have Achane, just in case. I know they're saying he could have went back in if it was an emergency situation, but you don't know. Could get worse today, tomorrow. So you just got to make that add with Jalyen Wright, which again, he should be available in almost every league. I don't even think he was added. I would have to check, but I think even in the high stakes leagues, I think he was available. Now, in those leagues, the waiver wire is closed. On these high stakes leagues, they close it after week 14, but he's got to be available in pretty much every single league. And maybe HN is good to go. The other factor, that game is Monday night. So he gets the extra day. You hope it's not a game time decision. They're going up against Pittsburgh on Monday night. So, yeah, but either way, yeah, you should be adding Jalyen Wright everywhere just in case HN is out.
This game happened on Thursday, but Flournoy for the Cowboys. So again, this is a situation where it's wait and see because I don't think, unless you think differently, Adam, but for me, I'm not playing Flournoy if CeeDee Lamb is back and good to go. He suffered a concussion. Again, this was the Thursday game though, so you can hold out hope a little bit better than maybe T. Higgins managers because he got the extra couple of days to clear that concussion protocol. He has not done that yet. If he's not out there though, it was Flournoy that really stepped up because of course George Pickens was, quitting on everything in your fantasy teams, but that's fine. I think he would be one that you can pick up and start, but it really just depends on CeeDee Lamb's availability.
Yeah, so it's basically an insurance plan, especially if you have CeeDee Lamb, but the extra days could help. The reports are he's doing well so far, but you still have to go through the steps that they require in the concussion protocol. So hopefully we get some good news on Lamb today, tomorrow, and have that answer by Friday, hopefully.
We need, T. Higgins to get out of concussion protocol. I don't know if he's going to, they could, he is potentially one that they shut down. Don't you think for the year? That's the second concussion.
Yeah, I'm second in 3 weeks. I'm very worried about T. Higgins. Again, he got checked twice in the game, slammed his head to the ground. They said he cleared it. I can't
believe they didn't pull him.
Well, they said he cleared. They said he had no symptoms and he cleared. Again, these are tricky.
I know
these are tricky.
It looked awful though watching it. You could see him
because he grabbed his head right away.
Yeah.
Then he came back in and balled out. So I guess he was fine.
He was thinking about everyone that started him. Just
yeah.
kidding. So you hope that You hope that he is able to clear that. And so we're watching a couple of these. Let me say one more here that we'll talk about later too. But Devin Singletary, if he's still around and out there, I know Tyrone Tracy went down with a hip injury, said it was just a stinger, said he could have come back. The last 3 weeks, though, for Devin Singletary, he's been getting 16, 14, 12 carries. I think he could be one that you should pick up, even though it's not a sexy name. People don't love him, but I still think that he has some worth to him.
They also have a good schedule upcoming beginning this week with Washington. And also, they're not, I think there was it 0 or 1 design runs for Jackson Dart this past week. So that means more opportunity for the running backs.
At Valenzuela 17, at Adam Ronis over there on X, it is time to go to that Fantasy Life water cooler. That means we're going through all the pieces of news that you might have missed, all the notes, and answering as many of your questions as we can get to. So send us those questions, call us in. We're going to the water cooler here next. It is about that time for the Fantasy Life water cooler. This is where we go through all the pieces of news that you might have missed throughout week 14, get you up to speed and ready for those fantasy football playoff pushes. We are here and getting ready to break down week 15 as well. Kendall, Valenzuela, Adam Ronis with you. As always, fantasylife.com. Have to point you in that direction because we've got articles that are 100% free that can help you out week in and week out. And we've also got that newsletter 100% free in your inbox every single day. So make sure you sign up for that at Valenzuela 17, at Adam Ronis over there on X. If you have questions, comments, we want to hear if you won last night, if you lost, and the phone number to call in also 888-963-2682, or you can press that new call-in button on the Sirius XM app. So let's get started here, Adam. Going into the water cooler, we kind of just mentioned this one, but I did want to bring it up again that T. Higgins is back in the concussion protocol. We got that news yesterday. So he was evaluated for a concussion multiple times during their loss to Buffalo on Sunday, passed both those tests. But I guess their head coach, Zach Taylor, said that T. Higgins reported symptoms, told the team that he was feeling the symptoms after the game. So 6 catches, 92 yards. You said it. He balled out for us, 2 touchdowns, but this puts him in a tricky spot. The Bengals host the Ravens week 15. So this is a matchup that we were looking forward to again. So we're just going to have to wait and see if he progresses through that protocol. And we'll get the first update on Wednesday of where he's at.
I would be prepared to be without him if I had T. Higgins, and I do have him in a couple of leagues that are in the playoffs. So I'm just planning to be without him at this point. There's really nothing you can do. It sucks because when it happened during the game, I was like, oh no, he's leaving. This sucks. He's going to get evaluated. He just had a concussion. There's no way he's coming back in. And he did. And he had a big game. So, at least you got that. But my guess is we're not going to see him this week. Hopefully we get surprised and he's fine. But the odds are against that.
Yeah, it's not good. Falcons head coach Raheem Morris said Drake London is day-to-day. I think he's day-to-day
for like 7 weeks. What is going on?
It's the knee injury. At this point, you don't believe him. They've got a Thursday game this week, so he did not practice on Monday. That was an estimated report, so you take it with a grain of salt a little bit. But I feel like really, Adam, he said he's day-to-day for a few weeks now. So if you have, I would love Drake London, especially in one league. I've got Drake London, T. Higgins, Sam Laporta on IR. It's just, they've just been absolutely going downhill for the last couple of weeks, but I think his availability obviously for Thursday in doubt with the update that he's still just day-to-day.
Yeah, more than likely he's not going to play, and you just have to hope if you have him that you could advance past this week and maybe he comes back next week. But even then, Atlanta just really nothing to play for right now. I mean, they're 3 games out of the division lead, so they're technically still alive, but we know it's not going to happen for them. So that's the only risk, is that if they do mathematically fall out of it, they go, all right, you know what? We have nothing to play for. Let's just sit you the rest of the year. Hopefully that's not the case, because obviously we were hoping to get a big finish from Drake London. So that injury just has been unfortunate timing because, London was, looking like one of the elite receivers that we could count on week in, week out.
When was the last time we've seen him? Has it been 3 weeks?
I think has he missed? I think it's 3 games now, right?
Wow, that is just, So we saw him week 11 against the Carolina Panthers, and he's missed these last 3: New Orleans, Jets, Seattle. So,
and look what he was doing before he went down, right? That's what I'm saying. It's a massive loss.
118 yards off 9 targets, 6 targets for 104, 7 for 119. He was getting you 38, 24, 18 fantasy points before this injury.
He had
Oh, my
he had
goodness.
5 100-yard games out of 6. Like, he was just developing into this force that you just were like, all right, I'm getting 15, 20 points every week, potentially more. He had a stretch too of 6 touchdowns in 5 games. Yeah, it was great. And now we're left sitting going, are we going to get him back at all?
It's so disappointing. They finish things off again. They play Tampa Bay. That's this Thursday night game. Then they're at Arizona, and then week 17 against the Rams. So we'll see if he comes
They could
back
win the
at
next
all.
2 weeks. That would
For sure.
That would be
That would
pretty
put 'em in a-
interesting.
Yes,
if they could
that
win the
would
next
put
2
'em in a-
weeks, because Tampa and Carolina play each other. So
Mhm.
it's
Oh,
not
it's
going to
getting-
happen. But let's hope. So we just want Drake London back.
That's all we need. Just please give us Drake London, and then we'll just be totally fine. Yeah, the Falcons are 4-9 right now. So and then 7-6 at the top for Tampa Bay and the Panthers. So this is again a big game. Tampa Bay, I mean, they need this one. We said that last week when everyone took him in Survivor, and then it didn't necessarily work out. Mike Evans looks like he's in play, was the quote that I saw. Adam on the other side of this game, in play to play and return on Thursday. So Todd Bowles said yesterday in that Monday press conference that Mike Evans, Tristan Wirfs, and Jalen McMillan are all in play to be in the lineup in week 15. We mentioned this yesterday, but we talked about, not only picking up Mike Evans last week if he was floating around out there, if someone, dropped him because they just did not have the space for, we would understand. But if he's good to go, you said that you're comfortable putting him in lineups because it's, at the end of the day, it's Mike Evans.
Yeah, because even if he was limited, that he's going to get opportunities in the red zone near the goal line, right? So he's that big receiver that can just go up there, get the ball. Baker Mayfield has the rapport with him. So, yeah, I would be comfortable. I did pick him up in a league a couple weeks ago. So, yeah, once he's out there, I'll put him in. I'm guessing we don't see him this week. Short week.
It would be tough.
Yeah. I mean, I guess there's a slim possibility, but if not, we should see him next week.
I mean, and then you get to see him, week 16. So if you are hanging on to him, maybe that's something you look at. I've got him. So again, rankings, just be careful. Some of us have him, Mike Evans, not ranked yet. I think if he was in there though, I've got him right now at wide receiver 21. So he's right around, that puts him around guys like Zay Flowers, DK Metcalf, Tedero McMillan, Devontae Smith. So that's kind of the range, just to give people the outlook there. FantasyLife.com is where you can go and check out all of our rankings. We do have early rankings up right now. Jordan Love, can we just hit Jordan Love in the MVP odds? I feel like that's just going to continue. You talk about this all the time, Adam, but it continues to go up and down every which way. But he has been making his move. I think last time I looked, he was the third best odds. It was behind Matthew Stafford, Drake May.
What a brutal year for MVP, if that's what we're doing.
It's not great. It's Toyotathon Jordan Love. Come on. He's going to put up some numbers for us. Yeah, he's third
how
right
long
now.
does this Toyota thing last? Is it this month?
I think it's all year.
All year?
Or all the rest. Well, I mean, all year. And we've got, like 20 days left or whatever.
That's true. That's what I meant. So the month.
Yeah, so the month.
Okay, so once January comes, it's over for him?
Look at this Google search. How long is Toyotathon?
To the end of the year, right?
Mid-November through January. So we could get it week 18.
So might get some postseason. So yeah, looking at the MVP odds now on DraftKings, Matthew Stafford minus 180, Drake May plus 200, Jordan Love plus 1,000, Josh Allen plus 1,500.
Yuck.
Sam Darnold is sixth.
Hey, watch it.
Hold on a second. Like, this is insane. Darnold is sixth. Caleb Williams is seventh. Bo Nix is eighth. Like, come on. What is this?
Hey, Sam deserves to be up there. No,
Caleb Williams MVP? Are you kidding me?
I didn't say yes to that.
Oh boy,
it's been a bad. Name a dominant team in the NFL right now? It might be the Rams.
There's none. I mean, the Rams. Look, I think a lot of us.
How about most complete teams? It might be the Rams and Seahawks this year. Totally pushing my bias aside. Like, it might be. I think Seahawks defense, obviously, and then offensively with JSN, if the ground game gets going, yeah. And the Rams have just been phenomenal.
So the Seahawks have the best point differential in the NFL at plus 161. The Rams are second at plus 152.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but again, they're both beatable. I mean, we just saw the Rams lose to the Panthers, so that's the only That's the only thing. But yeah, I mean, Stafford's in a good spot to get the MVP at this point, especially if they can finish as the 1 seed and Stafford finishes strong down the stretch. It's probably his MVP.
Bills Patriots this week. That's going to be a great game. We've got a handful of good games this week.
Yes, we do. We do. We said,
yeah. What?
Yeah, I guess the Bills. I guess mathematically they still have a shot to win the division.
Yeah,
they obviously would have to win this game.
Yeah, well, and it'll obviously move the MVP odds. But yeah, I just wanted to reason.
Chargers Chief is a good game because again, Chiefs lose and that's it. So season's on the line.
We've been saying that for 5 weeks.
But it's the
they do need to win out.
The Chargers winning yesterday was massive for them because if they would have lost, I would have been extremely worried that they miss out because they would have felt the pressure. They would have been talking about the schedule to finish the year. Their schedule is really difficult, so they needed that win desperately. But again, you got the Colts there, and are they going to win another game? So the Chiefs still have a shot. You can say what you want. It's bleak, and they've looked bad, but they really still have a shot to get in because they have a chance to win out.
Yeah, it's there's good games this week. Let's just say that. Let's just hope that it comes to fruition, Adam, and we don't see anything close to like what we saw last night.
Even the Chargers, okay, they're 9-4 now. They're the 5 seed. They could lose out. So if they go 9-8 and Kansas City wins out,
is their schedule that difficult?
Yes, it is.
Really?
They are at Kansas City. They are at Dallas. They have the Texans and at Denver.
Ooh.
And Denver could need that for the 1 seed or a bye. Yeah, for the 1 seed.
Yeah, that's brutal. Again, we had this conversation off the top. Who are you comfortable starting?
Just Hampton. That's
Hampton.
it.
And maybe
McConkey.
Ladd against the Cowboys. Well, every week, but especially against the Cowboys, you're more comfortable firing them up. Yeah, that's a brutal schedule.
Yeah, they could lose. Yeah. They could lose every game. That's why last night's win for them was massive. If they had not won last night, I think they would have been in big trouble. I still think they are. I mean, the defense played very well last night, but they're not going to get Jalen Hurts throwing those passes every week.
Well, stop.
There's a lot of people that are hurting from Jalen Hurts last night. For real. I seen some
really bad
beats.
That was the worst. That was the worst game of his career, and to have that in that game, in that spotlight, is just brutal.
I mean, think about it. There were people probably up need 5-6 points from Jalen Hurts to win and to win some, money, regular season money, whatever it is. You thought, oh yeah, easy, 5 points, Jalen Hurts, and you didn't get it. That is just those are the ones that it's tough to bounce back from. You need weeks to recover from that.
Yeah, it's awful. The Chargers, if it started today, would be in it. They have a 76%.
Yeah, they're the 5 seed right now.
The playoffs. They're the 5. Then Buffalo at 6.
But would you be surprised if they lost all 4 games? I wouldn't.
I'd be surprised with Dallas, but they've been putting up fights. So yeah, I guess I would not be surprised with how bad everything's looked. Justin Herbert and the pressure that he's gotten, especially that offensive line we've talked about before, the injuries that they've had to go through. Yeah, I wouldn't be shocked. It's crazy to think that they're sitting at 9-4 and at the 5 spot right now. But yeah, 76% chance to make it the playoffs. I think the one team, I'll just say this, and then I see some questions on X that we'll get to at Key Valenzuela 17 at Adam Ronis. I don't think any team wants to face Houston right now. Houston is surging at the right time, and we've talked about them, especially on the defensive side, though. And we talked about that when Dwain McFarland came on to break down the utilization report. But they get the Arizona Cardinals, their odds to make the playoffs up to 88% right now with the win over the Chiefs per NFL.com. Some other sites are more optimistic. I saw 92% from The Athletic, but they've put it together these last couple weeks, and their defense is nasty. I don't know if any team wants to face them right now.
Yeah, they've held teams to 19 points or fewer in 4 straight games. So, yeah, they're playing at a elite level right now on defense. The concern would be the offense in the playoffs because we know some of those games tend to be lower scoring. So then, a turnover, an interception could tilt the field and cost them a game. So, still concerned about their offense, but they're in great shape because they're home to the Cardinals in Vegas the next 2 weeks. I don't see them losing those games. That would put them at 10.
Marks to the moon.
Oh, and then they get the Colts week 18 too.
Yes.
Yeah, they're in good shape. They're good. They should win at least 3 games, if not run the table.
Yeah, Arizona and Las Vegas. And you saw a good, I mean, finally, it took, 27 carries, 15.6 points from Woody Marks, though, in that game. I think you continue, because we've seen him get over, 14 carries in every game. I think Nick Chubb also went down, got a little bit banged up.
He did. I think it was a chest injury, if I'm not mistaken.
So we'll see if he's good to go. Joe Mixon is in Cancun. I'm unsure where he is.
Yeah, and this is a look. Let's hope Woody Marks can finally go off yardage wise or find the end zone. And we just saw the Rams run all over Arizona, ETN. So they've been bad against the run. So let's hope that Marks gets that workload and can actually score maybe 2 touchdowns potentially.
He just needs to be more efficient. He's just not been efficient with his opportunities.
The offensive line has not.
The offensive line is bad. I want to see more through the air too. If he was involved in that passing game, we'd be talking about him so differently going into this weekend.
That has been perplexing to me. I don't know why he's not more involved.
He hasn't had more than 2 receptions since week 8. He had 4, and that's where he stops at his 4 receptions. That's the high.
Yeah, I don't understand that because he was involved early in the year, and now that he's become the main back, less targets. Doesn't make any sense to me. Get him in space so he's not running right into defensive linemen like he is frequently on every play.
All right, let's go out to the phone lines now, and I see some questions over there on X, at Valenzuela17, at Adam Ronis. If you want to give us a follow, send us your questions over there. But first, the phone lines. Let's go out to Jeff in Indiana. Jeff, what do you got for us?
Well, my 2 favorite people, I have to say that. So I called you a number of times. For I'm the guy that said, oh, you were contrary about your quarterbacks. When we first drafted Superflex, I just had no quarterbacks, and I've worked it out. I've gotten into playoffs. I'm 7-7. I have Brissett, and I also have him stacked with Michael Wilson, who's just been phenomenal, and I have Harrison on the bench. But Mahomes nearly killed me that last weekend. Now, obviously, I got to play him next week, right? But what do I do with Brissett? I mean, should I pick up a McCarthy because he's got a great rest of the season? Should I just go with Brissett and the stack with Michael Wilson and potentially Harrison? I don't know if I should play both of them if he comes back. But so that's where I'm at.
Do you have Mahomes? Did you mention Mahomes?
I have Mahomes, and I lost by 3 points because he didn't put up anything this last weekend. I would have gone 8-6 instead of 7-7, and I'm playing the same guy this week. So
okay, and Patrick Mahomes, they get the Chargers this week, so I'm gonna have Mahomes ahead of Brissett, just because this matchup, Adam, right, with Brissett, this is probably the one time. I know we've talked about him being maybe just in must-start territory or at least close to it, depending on who you had, but I'm probably going to have him closer to QB 17 than I am where Patrick Mahomes is going to be closer to 8.
Yeah, I know it's tough because Brissett has been so good.
Right, but would you...
Yeah. Oh, go ahead, Jeff.
I'm sorry. Yeah, so I'm just wondering if I don't play Brissett, should I stream another quarterback or maybe go with, I don't know, Jaden? I don't know.
So wait, you're saying you're a super flex, so you're starting 2 quarterbacks, right?
Well, again, I don't have to. I can flex somebody in that position, but I'm concerned about Brissett. I mean, I've got Wilson, I've got Harrison. I'm hoping Harrison stays hurt because it appears that Wilson is obviously. They've got a connection. So I'm going to start Wilson, but I'm just wondering, should I pick? I mean, McCarthy's got a great matchup against Dallas, and I'm just thinking maybe he puts up more points than Brissett this week.
What do you think, Adam?
I'm not going to do that. I know McCarthy had a good game. There was not many passing yards there. Dallas's defense has been better. They could create some pressure on him. Trust me. Jacoby Brissett is in a tough spot. The Texans have just been lethal. They have not allowed anything to passing games, but you do know Arizona is going to play from behind. They're going to put the ball in the air a lot, and you don't need Brissett to do what he's been doing. But I would start Brissett over McCarthy. I can't go there.
I've got him higher in the rankings, so it would be Mahomes and then Brissett. But yeah, we appreciate you calling in, Jeff. Good luck this week going into the playoffs. I've got a couple more questions here, Adam. I saw one from Jesse asking if here you go. Is DJ Moore droppable? Have the number 1 seed with the most points right now. Excuse me.
With Odunze out, I'd probably say no. if Dunze was there, I'd say yes. And even with the Dunze out last week, we saw nothing from DJ Moore. I mean, one catch for -4 yards. But I don't think he's droppable with Odunze out. I would still hold him. I don't know if I would start him, but I wouldn't drop him. Again, I got what is available too. So, that's such a general question. So
yeah.
I'm going to say no, but if you tell me it's an 8 or 10 team league and there's some better players out there, then I can say yes. But you would have thought any week that you could start DJ Moore would have been last week. And 3 targets, 1 catch, -4 yards. I don't know. He was open on that final play where he threw the interception to Komet. Moore was open in the middle of the field.
Yeah.
So Caleb just not seen him. But, yeah, I think DJ Moore still has an opportunity. You're not going to start him this week, probably. But
probably not. Just
in case he does go off and is more involved in the offense. But, boy, I didn't draft DJ Moore this year for the first time in a long time.
You feel good about it, huh?
But I do, but I did not think it would be this bad. This is embarrassing, the numbers he's putting up.
It's really well. Remember the offseason too. They were going back and forth, right? He was saying that he wasn't. I can't remember if it wasn't necessarily happy, but there was a little bit of drama between him and going into the year. So I also don't have him anywhere except for best ball teams, and you're kind of happy about that. But yeah, Jesse, it depends. If you want to send us a message back, depends on who you would pick up, I guess, or what the reasoning is behind dropping DJ Moore. So depending on that, he might be, but at this present moment, listening to or seeing that question, maybe not. We're going through Guillotine League most chopped players. I'm still alive in 3, Adam, and this is definitely a tough list. Tougher, I will say, than last week. So we're going to see if Adam can get 3 of the top 10 most chopped Guillotine League players here coming up next. It is Fantasy Life right here. Kendall, Valenzuela, Adam Ronis with you on this Tuesday, going through the most chopped Guillotine League players from Week 14. We have a list of 10. I have a list of 10, I guess I should say. Adam doesn't have the list. He promised he didn't look at it, and I believe him. So he has to try and guess 3 of the top 10 most chopped Guillotine League players, and then we can talk about how much we would spend on some of these guys. Adam, it is a tougher list. I'll give you that, but only a little bit. I mean, you said that mine last week was all easy and whatever.
It was.
I don't think it was.
Yes, it was.
I think it was quite difficult.
Oh yeah, just trying to prop yourself up. Get out of here.
I think it's a little bit difficult last week, but I did see some questions on Guillotine League players as well. Shout out to Jordan though. He said I had Saquon last night. Was up against Jalen Hurts. Oh no, sorry, Jordan. He got chopped. That wasn't the one I was looking for. Was winning before OT. That's the worst. Someone else had a good won the championship. It was Keith. Sorry, Jordan. He got chopped. You ready to go?
Top 10. I'm ready to go, yeah.
Top 10. All right. You can guess 3 players here. You got 3 chances. Or really you've got 1 chance, but go ahead. What are you doing?
All right. Jalen Hurts has to be on the list.
Number 1, okay. Jalen Hurts. 33.6% chop rate.
That might be a season high.
It has to be. That's insane to me. I can go back and look at all the numbers, but Jalen Hurts was number 1. And it wasn't particularly close either. Absolutely crazy with the performance last night. All right, so you got 1. Other 2. Where are you going to
go? Let's go with...
Oh,
man.
You're going back and forth on
I'm not sure
really?
here.
Okay, all right.
I feel like this guy has to be on the list. But
Say it.
All right, you know what? Damn, I think people could have benched him. All right, I will go with... Let's go Rashee Rice.
Rashee Rice, yes. Number 4.
Okay.
26.4% chop rate for Rashee Rice. That was, again, not a great performance. So look at you. You're fine. So you got Jalen Hurts so far. You got Rashee Rice. Jalen Hurts, again, 33.6% chopped rate. Rashee Rice, 26.4%. 1 more to get this.
I'm afraid that maybe people didn't start him.
Who? Say it. It's not Saquon. I'll tell you.
I know it's not Saquon. He was not on my list. I mean, he finally had a good game. Let's go Justin Jefferson.
Yes. Justin Jefferson on the list. Good job.
I was worried about that.
He was number 7.
Okay.
25.4%. I'm shocked you said him because I would have felt the same way where I said, did people start him in this matchup?
All right, let me give some other names on the list,
All right,
see if they're
let's
on.
see it.
Devontae Adams.
Yes, number 3.
Okay. I figured he had to be. Everyone
Yeah.
started him. He didn't do well. Brees Hall.
Number 2 was
Okay.
Brees Hall. I would have, I don't know if I would have said that.
What about Kelsey?
10.
Okay.
Travis Kelce was 10. Yeah. Look at your list. You were fine.
Okay, so yeah. There's probably some bye weeks in there, right? There has to be. Players on bye.
Who was on a bye? Patriots.
San Francisco, Carolina,
No.
Giants. No one?
No one.
Wow, this
So
might be the first week.
Top 10, Jalen Hurts, Brees Hall. Jalen Hurts, number 1. Brees Hall, number 2. Devontae Adams, 3. Rashee Rice at 4. Patrick Mahomes, 5.
He's on my list, yeah.
Ashton Genty at 6.
He's on the list.
Justin Jefferson at 7.
Okay.
George Pickens at 8.
I did have him on the list, yeah.
Chris Olave at 9.
I have him.
Travis Kelce at 10.
Wow, okay, so I had
No
everyone.
players on
So maybe it was. So it wasn't, I don't think it was difficult.
No.
I had everyone on the list.
Yeah, then it wasn't difficult. Then you were fine. You were just stressing about it.
Yeah, because you were like, I don't know.
Which player was stressing you out the most? Jeff? Jeff would have stressed me out. I don't think I would have said.
Yeah, I did have Igbuka's name, but I was like, man, I think people have given up on him.
Yeah, I don't think people are going to.
And then
Igbuka.
Yeah. Oh, I had Olave too. I thought about.
Oh, yeah. Well, he was on there. He was 9.
And then okay. So yeah, I think I had a list of about 14. So.
Okay, not bad. So those were the top 10 most chopped Guillotine League players. Now let's go into how much we would spend if you are still alive. I've got one team, Adam, that is on life support. You ever look at one of your teams and just say, well, we just talked about this. I look at this team and I say, how the heck did I get this far with some of these players that I have? It's just crazy. So let's do the top 5 instead of the top 10. But Patrick Mahomes. So Patrick Mahomes was the fifth most chopped player here, 26.4%. How much would you pay for one Patrick Mahomes? You have to think that everyone has at this point a good quarterback right now. So I guess it's streaming territory if you want him. They played they played the Chargers, then they played the Titans, and then they finished things off against the Broncos and the Raiders.
Yeah, I wouldn't spend a lot. I mean, again, it also depends who you have a quarterback. We're down to, a handful of teams. So I think that's a factor. You always look at what other people have for money. Chargers defense obviously played very well this past week. They've been pretty good. Chiefs are home kind of desperate. So, yeah, I wouldn't spend a lot. Do you have him you did preliminary rankings, right?
Yes, I've got him at.
You don't have him top 5, right? For the week?
No, but he's up there. I think I have him at 8.
Okay, so yeah, then you wouldn't spend a lot on him then.
I have him.
Yeah, because you're, Allen, May, Stafford, Burrow, Jack, Lamar, Hurts. Yeah, so yeah, you know what? I wouldn't spend a lot on him. I mean, he does get Tennessee in week 16, right? So that's a good one. But yeah, I wouldn't spend a lot.
No, I would do maybe like $8.
Yeah,
and it's just to hold him really for the Titans. Like at this point in the year, I know a lot of people don't have much money left, so I wouldn't spend that much on him as well. Same team though, Rashee Rice. Would you spend more on him? Again, they're facing the Chargers, they're facing the Titans, then the Broncos, and then the Raiders. How much would you spend on Rashee Rice?
Yeah, I would spend a lot. I know this past week was not good. He might have been a little shook from taking that big hit and was afraid to catch some passes after because he had that bad drop late in the game. But we've just seen him be too good this year, and they get him the ball. It was a tough matchup there against the Texans. The Texans have allowed 3 100-yard receivers this year. Can you guess who they are? I know, just quickly, if you can't, but they've only given up 3.
That's crazy, though. 3?
2 of them are elite. Puka Nacua, Jackson Smith and Jigba, Khalil Shakir.
Stop.
Yeah, 8 for 110.
Stop. Are you sure?
Yes.
Check it. What week was that?
The Buffalo game was week 12.
Okay. Wow. I would have never.
But yeah, with Rice, I would spend on him. He's a guy that can put up 20 points in a given week, and he has a high floor. I mean, this game was 4 for 34.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
on 8 targets. His previous game against Denver was worst game was 6 for 38. So yeah, I would spend on him.
I would too. I'm wondering, I want to kind of get this info and maybe I'll get a reply here in a second. I want to know the average amount of money left for Guillotine League players. I think there's probably a wide range, but you would spend a lot of your money on Rocky.
I feel like there's one team in most leagues that does sit back on their money to be in a position like now where they could just get anyone they want. I did that in a league last year.
Yeah, which I think is a good enough strategy unless you're really trying to, go for everything and CMCs out there. I've got $24, $46, and $29 across my 3. But
okay.
Last week I spent 2 weeks ago, I spent a lot of money to get I spent a lot on Rashee Rice CMC. So I was really spending a lot there.
You also have less competition now to deal with. And,
sure.
The other teams could be in a similar amount of money left as you. So
yeah, you've got in one, this is going to be my last week. There's only 2 of us left. And then in both of the others, there's four teams left. So, try and spread the money out there. Devontae Adams, number 3 most chopped player, 27.7%. We talked about this with the Rams and our expectations with them, how he's been falling into the end zone and just going at a crazy pace. The Rams take on the Lions this week. Then they face the Seahawks. That's a Thursday night game before finishing things off with the Falcons and the Cardinals.
Okay, the Seahawks game is definitely a concern. He saw them a few weeks ago, had 1 catch for 1 yard and a touchdown. But again, they just get inside the 10. They continuously throw to him. So yeah, I think you spend money. The floor is lower than we think, as we saw this week. So this was the first game since October 12th. He didn't score a touchdown, and it was 4 for 29. So that is in the range of outcomes, but they just throw the ball so much to him. So I would spend money on him too.
His 2 lows since their bye is 7.1 fantasy points, like you just said, against Seattle, and then this past week against Arizona, 6.9. The rest of those other games, the 4 games besides those, 23, 19.7, 23.2, 21.8 for Devontae Adams.
So this is crazy. This past week was only the 4th game this season Adams did not score a touchdown.
That is insane.
Oh boy!
We didn't see him. So it was week 1, week
against
5,
the Texans,
week 6, and week 14.
Yeah.
Wow. The pace has just been insane. And we've, in the back of my mind, I thought, can this continue? But it obviously has, Adam. It's just one of those things where you say, well, regression has to be coming, but I don't know.
So there's a chance that he scores like anywhere from 16 to 20 touchdowns and doesn't get 1,000 yards receiving.
It's crazy. I love when things like this happen. I love football. All right. Breece Hall, 28.3% chop rate. Number two on the list. So the Jets are facing, let me get their schedule up. The Jets are facing, I don't know why this is being weird. I do not have this in front of me. It says January 4th. I don't know why my computer's freaking out right now. The Jets this week, though, facing the Jaguars at least. What are you looking at for them?
I'm not spending on Breece Hall. It's just who's the quarterback is a big question this week, right? Taylor left with a groin injury. Justin Fields dealing with a knee injury. If we got Brady Cook against Jacksonville, again, you saw how low the floor can be in this game because Taylor left like 4 plays into the game. And Breece Hall had 14 carries for 43 yards and 1 damn target. That's the thing that bothers me. I don't know why they don't get him involved in the passing game. And yes, I'm bitter because 2 weeks ago I had a receiving yards prop and he didn't cash it. But like you see these games, 75 yards receiving, 42, and then they come back and they don't throw him the ball. So yeah, Breece Hall in this offense with the quarterback, I'm spending minimal at this point. And yeah, I just can't. You cannot bid high on him at this point. The floor is very low if Brady Cook's the quarterback.
Jacksonville this week, then New Orleans, then the Patriots, and they finish things off week 18 against
Buffalo. That's not good. The Saints defense is playing better than people think. I mean, the Saints defense is going to be a streamer that week.
No, for sure. Last one really quick here. How much would you spend? I'm spending nothing on Jalen Hurts. Jalen Hurts is in the doghouse. I'm not talking about him. He's not invited to my birthday party. I'm not doing this with Jalen Hurts. How much would you spend, though?
Again, it's a quarterback, so I never spend a lot on quarterbacks. It's the Raiders in Washington, though.
I know.
So
that's what's making it annoying.
It depends it all depends on who your quarterback is, right? You also do want to maybe play keep away.
Mm-hmm.
If I'd look at my opponents, but Yeah, I would definitely put in a bid for him for sure. It's Vegas. Like if they can't bounce back this week, then forget it.
It's completely over. I agree. The most chopped players over there at fantasylife.com. You can also check out all of our Guillotine League rankings, so make sure you go and do that. We're going to continue on going through some of the other winners that we saw throughout week 14, and if they can continue that pace and that trajectory going into the fantasy playoffs and some of the down games we've seen too. Can they turn it around? We're going to break that down here coming up next. If you call yourself a sports fan, you got to have Xfinity. All the games all in one place. Here is what you get when you watch sports with Xfinity. You get the Sports Zone, every pro football game and over 1,000 college games, highlights and alerts all in one place. You get the multi-view. You get the Xfinity fan view as well. So that means live scores, odds, and stats all in one place, personalized to you and the teams you love. You also get that enhanced 4K and the voice remote where you can just say football. Imagine all your football all in one place. Easy. Learn more at xfinity.com. Restrictions apply. New residential customers only. Taxes and fees extra and subject to change. This is Fantasy Life right here. Appreciate everyone hanging out with us on this Tuesday. Still recapping everything that we saw in week 14, getting ready for all things week 15 and the fantasy playoffs, Adam. I'm telling you, I've got a couple teams I'm in, and I'm worried about it because they put up really good games in week 14 where I was already in it, and I need them to repeat 140 plus fantasy points again, please. That's just what I want.
Yeah, this is where, look, you always just want to get in the playoffs, but unfortunately sometimes crazy things happen. We've seen like the best team in the regular season lose in their first matchup, so you need a lot of things to break right here over this 3-week stretch, and we all know a lot of times the best team does not win because we're doing it based on 1 week. I mean, that's it. You need 3 really good weeks in a row or some breaks along the way. Can't have guys get injured like we saw Amon-Ra St. Brown on Thanksgiving first quarter. That could be, the nail in the coffin. So, yeah, look, there is definitely an element of luck involved. The skill gets you here, and then you just need some things to break your way and go right. It is very difficult to win a fantasy football championship because we've seen the landscape just changes instantly. We've talked about it a lot on today's show, like so many teams that weeks ago. Like, think about it. I had a tight end combo of Tyler Warren and Aronda Gadsden. You know how good I felt 3 weeks ago? Now I don't want to start either guy. So it's just crazy how things change. And also, like, this is a year having those elite players might be enough to win a championship. Like, the Trey McBrides, the Jackson Smith and Jigmas, Jahmyr Gibbs. Like, just having a couple of those. Like, if you have 2 of those, you feel really good because you just need the other guys to be decent.
Yeah.
I mean, we have seen Gibbs have a couple down weeks. He's had a couple 11-point, 12-point, but we know he's getting fed the football. They have the extra rest coming off a Thursday game. They're fighting for the playoffs. We've seen since Campbell took over, he's getting the ball to Gibbs more, especially in the passing game. So, yeah, it's one of those years if you have those elite guys up top. And, again, they can have a bad game. We saw Smith and Jigba have a bad game 2 weeks ago, but you feel really good if you have those guys because they can carry you this year.
There's not many, especially in the running backs, which we've talked about before, not crazy surprises, right? It's CMC, it's Jonathan Taylor. I'm looking at just total fantasy points for the season. It's Jahmyr Gibbs, Devon Achane, who we talked about, and Bijan Robinson. James Cook is right there. Javonte Williams having a way better season than I think anyone thought he would, or at least where he was going in drafts. And then at the wide receiver position, it kind of feels a little bit the same. You've got JSN at the top. You've got Puka Nacua. George Pickens is up there at wide receiver 3 for the season so far with his performance. I know he was a little bit cheap. He wasn't necessarily cheaper, but he was cheaper than Amon-Ra St. Brown, Jamar Chase here, Devontae Adams. That's the top 6. So, yeah, I agree with you. If you've got the elite guys, the studs, you just hope that they continue going the way that they have been. Let me bring up one player here because I wanted to go through a winner from last week and see if we believe that he can continue doing it. Travis Etienne scored 21.1 fantasy points in that win against the Colts. I just mentioned to you their schedule during the break. It's not a bad schedule for them at all moving forward. Bashaw Tootin fumbled twice, so he had a 3% snap share.
Barely played,
If that holds for Travis Etienne managers, you're ecstatic about that. If they put him in the doghouse, Bashaw Tootin, and they say, hey, we're going to have this punishment linger beyond week 14, Etienne's value is going to skyrocket.
It feels like he's a little disrespected because every week it feels like there's been a couple times this year where they're like, all right, this is Bashal Tootin week. He's taking over the backfield.
Yeah.
And it never happens because ETN immediately does something to say, nope, this is my backfield. Get the hell out of here. So, yeah, ETN's been really good this year. Him and Javonte Williams were in. Yeah, him and Javonte Williams were in that similar range. Now, I was in on ETN. I was out on Javonte Williams. So I liked ETN a lot. I was like, I thought he was undervalued. But he was 2 years ago. He was a top fantasy back. And, you know, he had injuries last year. You bring in a new offensive coach, new offensive mind. And to me, he was the lead back. So, again, he's been very good. Like you said, he was RB10 in points or points per game?
Points. Just total points. Yeah.
Yeah, like for where he was drafted, you'll take that. I know there's been a couple of weeks where you've been a little disappointed. The game against Tennessee, 12 carries, 28 yards, 1 catch for 13 yards, but he bounced back. And especially this week in a game that they should play from ahead, and they've been wanting to run the football too. So, yeah, ETN's in a good spot. He hasn't had a 100-yard rushing game since September, but yeah, he's been very solid, you know, especially lately, scoring touchdowns. Not as heavily involved in the passing game recently as I want. A lot of that is game script. They've been winning pretty easily. They had the Arizona game in overtime, but they've also won 35-6, 25-3, and 36-19. So they really haven't been challenged in those games, so it's difficult to get those receptions because that Arizona game, he had 3 catches for 30 yards. So it's probably not going to be a competitive game again this week. Jacksonville's favored by 12.5.
Probably not, but I mean, since they're bye in the 6 games since their ground game, they've been really leaning into it. -3% drop back rate over expected. If this trend continues, ETN, he could be a fantasy league winner down these next 3 weeks for you going into the fantasy playoffs and the championship. I've got a couple more winners that we saw in week 14. Can that carry over? And the final waiver wire names to know article is live at fantasylife.com. Let's break that down here. Coming up next. I love this song. Kendall, Valenzuela, Adam Ronis with you right here. Fantasy Life on Sirius XM Fantasy Sports Radio. Breaking down the waiver wire names. You need to know the final names. Everyone go online and tell Adam to watch Monsters, Inc. He said he's never seen it. Have you seen any Disney movies, though, realistically? If we're really going to get into this? No.
Yeah, probably a couple.
What's the last Disney movie you remember seeing?
I don't know.
Okay.
I don't watch a lot of movies. I'm more like TV shows.
Like that's a lie. You've been going to the movie theaters. You've been seeing advanced screenings. What are you talking about?
I need to get another one soon.
You're on the elite list. Mad Men, I'm telling you. I told you I started that this week.
Oh yeah, you did.
Good.
It's really good.
It's very good.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm not that far into it, but I can see why everyone likes that show. Anyways, so you didn't watch the Monsters Inc.
I did not.
Broadcast last night. It was funny. When Jalen Hurts was pissing me off, I would switch back so it would be Mike Wazowski and Sully.
Well, I guess that would help a little bit, right?
It did help a little bit.
Help alleviate the pain.
Or just added insult to injury. I don't know which one you can pick over there. All right, final waiver wire names to know, or at least going through the list that we talked about earlier. I think Blake Corum's at the top if he is available. I know he's more rostered than not across all leagues, but if he is, for whatever reason, floating around out there, Adam, he's the top guy. Jalyen Wright, Miami Dolphins running back, is the handcuff to have if you have Devon Achane. Also worth just picking up anyway, even if you don't have Achane, in case he's not good to go for week 15. We talked about, we talked about Harold Fannin Jr. with Dwain, but I think it's worth bringing up again. Harold Fannin Jr. needs to be rostered. He needs to be more rostered than what he's at right now, because I couldn't believe when I was doing my waiver wire article that he was still just able to be picked up. And so I'm looking at Harold Fannin Jr. as one of the top guys. He's 39% rostered right now. If you're in deeper formats, you know that he's probably not going to be there. But his connection with Shedeur Sanders, the chemistry that they have, and just his overall utilization is bordering on elite right now.
Yeah, he's absolutely rising up the tight end rankings for sure. Yeah. He's bypassed a few tight ends that are in dire spots right now due to the quarterback or the offense, and Fannin is a guy you feel good about, no question about it. So yes, he should be. I'm surprised he's still available in that many leagues.
I think it's because of the Browns. I think it's the
probably
and people not. Listen, Shedeur Sanders still has question marks. You're not going to get 364, 3 touchdowns every single week. But they did name him. I didn't hit this in the water cooler. They did name him the quarterback for the rest of the season. So he's QB1. No questions on if he's going to. I mean, obviously, if something crazy happens, maybe, but it's not going to be Dylan Gabriel going out there. It's going to be Shedeur Sanders. So that helps a little bit.
Don't get to play the Titans every week either, but still.
Well, still.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a good one. I think deeper, you can't play Rasheen Ali, but he is obviously the backup to Derrick Henry right now. Those are for deep formats. Keaton Mitchell suffered a knee injury. He might be all right though.
Yeah, I think
Keaton
I saw a
Mitchell.
note earlier that the MRI was clean. Yes, it
We'll
came back
see.
clean, but it's minor, but he could be out.
Yeah, could be out there. I think Flournoy is someone for the Cowboys. If CeeDee Lamb is out with that concussion, he is definitely in a startable territory. So there's some guys out there. It's not the best list that we've ever had. It's been an awful waiver wire year, to be honest, Adam. But I will also say Devin Singletary. We talked about him. I think their upcoming schedule is very favorable when you're looking at them facing the Commanders, the Vikings, and the Raiders during the fantasy playoffs. He gets work. They do split carries with Tyrone Tracy. He said he was going to be healthy, good to go. He said it was just a stinger. But I still think Devin Singletary is worth picking up.
You still need to see Tracy practice. I mean, there's a chance
Exactly.
that he's not ready yet, so players can say, "Yeah, I'm fine," especially before a bye week. But let's see what happens. So yeah, they got a good schedule too: Commanders, Vikings, and Raiders during this fantasy playoff. So yeah, as boring as Singletary is, if he's going to get that volume, then he definitely has to be on the radar.
We always get one random fantasy playoff winner. We always do. I'm curious to see who it's going to be this year. But we're getting ready for the fantasy playoffs. FantasyLife.com is where you can go check out my article, 100% free. Appreciate everyone hanging out with us here today. You guys are the absolute best. We will be back same time here tomorrow. See you then.